सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते यौपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ओम शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओमित्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ओमिति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम् page 260। अथ यत्रैतत्पुरुषः पिपासति नाम तेज एव तत्पीतं नयते तद्यथा गोनायः अश्वनायः पुरुषनायः इत्येवं तत्तेज आचष्टे उदन्येति तत्र एतदेव शृङ्गमुत्पतितं सौम्य विजानीहि न इदम् अमूलं भविष्यतीति। अथ यत्र यस्मिन् काले एतत् पुरुष पिपासति नाम पुरुषस्य पिपासति इति एतन्नाम भवति। When this person gets the name pipasati, that is when he is thirsty he gets the name pipasati. So pipasati is actually a verb, but that becomes the name of the person when he is thirsty. Teja eva tat pitam nayate. So what happens is द्रवीकृतस्य अशिरस्यन्नस्य नेत्रेह आपः अन्नशृंगम देहम क्लेदयन्तः शिथिलीकुर्युः अब बाहुल्याद यदि तेजसा न शोष्यन्ते. So water that is drunk leads the food, the solid food, by softening the food, it leads it further. If there was nothing now to dry that water, then there will be a abundance of that water, excess of that water. In that case, that water would make this body slacken. It would wet the body, slacken it. Therefore, nitaram tejasa shoshimana swapsu. However, when the water is dried up constantly by teja, by fire, deha bhavena parinamanasu patamicha purushasya jayate. The water no more remains water. Water gets transformed into blood because of the fire. So now the space is created. Therefore, patamicha purushasya jayate. Therefore there arises the desire, the thirst, the desire to drink. Tada purushah pipasati nama. At that time, this Purusha person gets the name Pipasati. He is thirsty. Tadetadaha. Teja eva tattadapitam avadishoshayat. So when does the thirst take place? Teja, the fire. Tada pitam avadishoshayat. Water and whatever other liquid has been drunk, shoshayat, drying that up. Dehagata lohita prana bhavena nayate. The fire transforms that water in the form of blood as well as prana or the vital energy. Tadyatha gonaya hai, ashwanaya hai, purushanaya hai iti. How the leader of the cow is called gonaya hai. Leader of the horse is called ashwanaya hai. Leader of the man is called Purushanaya. Similarly, leader of what is called Udanya, Udakanaya. But it says Ud also, so Udanya, Udanyanaya. Udanaya is called Udanya. It should have been Udanyam. Udakam Nayati iti Udanyam. So that which leads the water is called Udanyam. But then Udanyeti Chandasam. However, the name is not Udanyam, name is Udanya. That Makara is dropped. This is the Vedic license. Tatrapi Purvata. As Annagiri said, Yatha Ashanaya iti Chandasam tatha Tejasi Udanyetyapi Chandasam eva. Just as in case of water, it should be Ashanaya. But it's called Ashanaya. Similarly, in case of Teja, fire, it should be Udanyam. It's called Udanya. Both of them are the Vedic usages. Or as the other Tikakara says, evam apsungatvam sharirasya jnatva. In this manner, this body is a product of water. The earlier passage showed how the body is the product of annam or food. Because the food gets transformed into mamsam or the flesh. The body also is a product of water. Because the water gets transformed as blood. Tenapi prakarana mulakar anumanam purvat yojyam. Tenapi prakarana. In that manner also, Mula Karana Anumanam. Sat is a Mula Karanam. That inference also Yodyam can be construed accordingly like before. Subhashyakara said, Apamapi etadeva sharirākhyam shungam na anyata iti. That is body, the shungam, the sprout, or the product, or the effect of apam, of water, and nothing else. We also read the other passage on the page 261. Tasyakva moolam syat anyatra adbhyah adbhis somya shungena tejo moolam anvichya tejasa somya shungena sanmoolam anvichya Sanmula somima sarva prajaha sadayatanaha satpratishtaha yathanukhal somya imastistro devataha purusham prapya trivat ekaika bhavati taduktam purastadeva bhavati asya somya purushasya prayataha vāng manasi sampadyate manah prāne prānastejasi tejah parasyam devatayam tasya kvamulam syat anyatra adbhyah. Other than water, what can be the moolam, can be the source or the cause of this body? Other than water, the water is the source or cause of the body. Adbhis somya shungena tejo moolam anvichya. Hey Somya, O good looking one, Adbhihi shungena, by the sprout in the form of water. So body is a sprout, water is a bijam, the seed, the cause. Body, then water is a sprout. Tejo moolam anvichya, teja, the fire is the moolam, is the cause. Tejasa somya shungena san moolam anvichya. He Somya, by again the shrunga or the effect sprout in the form of tejas, may you see Sat as the very moolam or the very source, very cause. Sanmulaha somima sarva prajaha. He somya sarva prajaha sthavarajangam lakshanaha. All these prajas, the beings, have their moolam, their root, the cause or source in Sat. Sanmulaha. Sadayatanaha. Well, all the beings are in existence, then Sat is ayatanam, is that very abode of them. Sat pratishtaha, ultimately all the beings merge into Sat, so that is the place of merger. Yathanu khalu somme imastisro devataha purusham prapya trivrit ekaika bhavati taduktam purastadeva bhavati. How each of these elements, the earth or the food, water, fire, when they come to this body, how each of them gets divided into three components or three parts has already been stated earlier. So that prakriya, this is prakriya, the method of arriving at Sat or existence as a Mula Karanam. This one prakriya is presented here. The Upanishad presents another prakriya. Asya somya purushasya prayataha. So Sushupti was one prakriya. Swapiti. Other is Ashishishati, Vipasati, another prakriya. Third is Asya Somya Purushasya Prayatah. When this person is dying, when he is departing from here, Vang Manasi Sampadyate, Vang, the organ of speech, it gets withdrawn into the mind. Mana Prana, the mind gets withdrawn into Prana, the vital energy. Prana Tejasi, the Prana also gets withdrawn into Tejas or fire. Teja Parasyam Devatayam, and the Teja fire gets withdrawn into the Supreme Deity, which is Sat. So another prakriya. How you arrive at Sat as the, or existence as the ultimate abode, the culmination. So it is a end or termination or culmination of everything. Avyaktat purushah parah, purushan na param kinchit, sa kastha sa paragati. The Kathopanishad had this prakriya. Indriyani paranyaho indriyebhya parahyarthaha arthebhyascha param manah. The superior, greater, more pervasive, interior than the sense organs are the objects, the tanmatras. Arthebhyascha param manah, subtler than them, more inner than them. Their controller, more pervasive, is the mind. Manasastu para buddhi. Superior to the mind is buddhi, is the intellect. Yo buddhi par no. Then what is mahata? Buddhir atma mahan parah. So greater, the subtler than buddhi is mahatattva, samashti buddhi. Mahatah param avyaktam. Superior to mahat, subtler than them is avyaktam, the unmanifest. Avyaktat purushah parah. Greater than, subtler than unmanifest is purushah, the consciousness. Purushan param kinchit. There is nothing greater, subtler, farther than Purusha. Sa kastha sa paragati. Sa parakastha sa paragati. This is the culmination of this process of resolving the grosser the effect into cause, or grosser into subtler. It finally gets resolved into Purusha, the consciousness. So here the prakriya is everything gets resolved into Sat. Then we also read the Tika on the page 27, line 27. Nanu yatha dehasya annashungatvena apshungatvena che mulakarana anumapakatvam. How the body becomes anumapaka. Body becomes a means of inference. Annashungatvena, because body is the sprout of annam. Apshungatvena, it is also the sprout of water. Mulakarana anumapakatvam. Therefore, this body becomes anumapaka, a means of anumanam, leading to the inference of the original cause, which is Sat. Evam, then body also is a product of fire. Because from the fire, the bones are made, And so that way, bones are made. And then, what else is it? The speech, of course, is made of fire. Marrow is made. Therefore, the fire also contributes to this body. Therefore, the body is very much the product of fire. Evam tejashungatvenapi tad anumapakatvam kimiti shrutya na uktam. How come Shruti did not complete that process? Should body as a product of food, body as product of water, body is also product of fire. So why did not Shruti also include that in the discussion? Shruti has not said. So Shruti has not said that the body is the sprout or the product of the element fire. Tasya bhutatraya karyatva avisheshat. Because body is equally the product of all the three elements, earth, water as well as fire. Not that body is not the product of fire, it is very much the product of fire also. Iti ashankya tadapi arthat uktam. Bhashyakara says that also has been said in, by the way. Barthapatti, there is also understood to be said. So Bhashyaka samarthyaditi. और आनंदगिरी से तेजस शुंग द्वारा भी सतो मूलस्य प्रतिपत्ति अस्ति. That body is the shunga, the sprout of teja or the fire, that way also मूलस्य प्रतिपत्ति अस्ति. We can know what the moolam is, namely Sat. So Samarthyaditi. Samarthyad Tejasopi Etadeva Sharirākhyam Shungam Ataha Apshungena Dehena Apo Moolam Gamyate Adbhishungena Tejo Moolam Gamyate Tejasa Shungena Sanmoolam Gamyate Purvavate. Samarthyat Tejasopi Etadeva Sharirākhyam Shungam. So in the same process, Samarthya is in the same way. Tejasopi Etadeva Sharirākhyam Shungam. This body is Shungam, the sprout or effect of Tejaha, of the element fire. As in case of element earth as well as element water, the same manner the body is equally the product of element fire. Ataha apshungena dehena apo moolam gamyate. Now why this ataha? The discussion is of teja. Bhashyakara bringing up, apshungena dehena apo moolam gamyate. Therefore, body which is the product of water, from that we understand that the water is a moolam or this source of body. Adbi shungena tejo moolam gamyate. And by the shunga of the nature of water, you arrive at the cause which is tejaha. Tejasa shungena san moolam gamyate purvavata. By the sprout in the form of fire, you arrive at Sat or existence as the original cause. Look at Anandiri, Samarthayadi, Triyutkarana Vashaditi Yavat. After all, the body is a product of all the three elements. Not only of Annam and Apa or water, but also of fire. Therefore, the rule that applies to the Annam and water of what should also apply to fire. That was Samarthyat. Trivutkarana Vashat, because body is equally the product of fire as it is the product of the other two elements. Then Annagiri continues, Sharirasya bhutatraya karyatvam atah shabdartah. So Bhashyakara says, atah apshungena dehena apo moolam gamyate. That body is the karyam, the effect of bhutatraya, all the three elements. Therefore, it is also a product of water. From that you lead to fire, from that to the sat. Yatha purvam anna shungena dehena annakhyam moolam gamyate. Earlier, just as anna shungena dehena, body which is shunga or the sprout of annam, annakhyam moolam gamyate. Because body is a product of food, therefore we understand that food is the cause of the body. Ityadi vyakhyatam tatha tejasyungena dehena tejo moolam gamyate. So you should understand that Shruti has already said it or meant it. Tejasyunga deha, body which is the product of teja, so this body also leads to the anumanam, the inference of sat or existence as the moola karanam, as the ultimate cause. Ityaha purvat iti. Look at the other tika. Samarthya, the tika says in the line 29, bhutatrayakaritya samarthyaditi. That body is a karyam, the product of all the three bhuta, all the three elements. Therefore, the rule that applies to the other two elements should also apply to teja, the fire, the third element. Now this Tikakar is trying to understand, make, so get anvaya from what Bhashyakara has written. So ataha apshunge, ataha means what? Therefore, with the body which is the product of water. So ataha iti anantaram yatha shabdam adhyahritya ata yatha apshungena dehene apo moolam gamyate. One yatha should be added there. San moolam gamyate iti. So yatha apshungena dehena apo moolam gamyate admi shungena tejo moolam gamyate tejasa shungena san moolam gamyate. Yatha should be added there. The anantaram tatha, if you have one yatha, then you should add tatha there, where san moolam gamyate tatha. Tatha tejas shungena dehena tamo moolam gamyate tejo moolam gamyate tejasa shungena san moolam gamyate purvat idadhyarutya vakyam yojyam. So similarly, tejas shungena dehena, the body which is the sprout of teja, the element fire, tejo moolam gamyate. If the body is the product of annam, the annam is the mool of the body. If body is the product of water, what is the mool of the body? If body is the product of fire, fire is the mool of this body, moolam. So, tejo moolam gamyate, tejasa shungena san moolam gamyate. And tejas itself is shungam, or the sprout or product of sat. Therefore, it leads to the original cause which is sat. Purvat iti adhyahritya vakyam yojyam. So all these adhyahara, yatha and tatha, and then add all of this, and then the vakya will be complete. Tikakara says, ataha apshungatvena ityasya sthane ataha tejashungatvena dehena. Then ataha would be alright. Samarthya tejasopi etadeva sharirakyam shungam. Ataha tejashungena dehena tejaso moolam gamyate. Because the body is a product of teja, therefore tejas is a moolam of the body. Tejashungena san moolam gamyate. And since teja also is a sprout, therefore san moolam gamyate, you arrive at sat, which is the original cause. पूर्वत इति एतावन्मात्रमेव पाठो यदि अस्ति तदा सुगमम्. If this is what Bhashyakara wrote, it would have been easier to understand. सामर्थ्यात् तेजस्शृङ्गत्वेनापि मूल अनुमापकत्वं विवक्षितम् इत्यत्र हेतुं वदन्. सामर्थ्यात्. So Shruti carried out the exercise in case of Annam and Apaha, water, and left that exercise for fire to us. Samarthyat Tejasshungatvenapi. This body is the spread of Teja or fire. Mula Anumapakatvam Vivakshitam. Therefore, Shruti intends to say that through Tejas also, through body, which is product of Tejas, that also will lead to Sat Moolam or Sat. इति अत्र हेतुं वदन् उक्त अनुवाद पूर्वकम् उत्तर वाक्यम् अवतारयति एवं हि. सो सामर्थ्यात् तेजस्शृङ्गत्वेनापि मूल अनुमापकं विवक्षितम्. The Shruti clearly stated the Anumana in case of Anna and Apaha. That same Anumanam leading to Sat or original cause in case of Sat Teja also is Vivakshan, is what is intended to be said by the Shruti. Iti atra hetum vadan. Why do you say that? What's the hetu? Uktanuvad purvakam uttar vakyam avatarayati. Ukta anuvada purvakam, preceded anuvada or reiteration of uktam, what has been stated. Uttar vakyam avatarati. Bhashyakara now introduces the next sentence. Evam hi te. Or as Anandagiri said, Vrittanuvada purvakam यथा इत्यादि वाक्यम आदत्ते. यथानुकूल सौम्य इमास्तिस्रो देवताः पुरुषं प्राप्य त्रिवृत्रुत एकैका भवति. That वाक्य is now taken up by Bhashyakara. Reiterating what has been stated, evam hi. So on the page 262, in the first line, एवं हि तेजो बन्नमयस्य देहशृङ्गस्य वाचारम्भण मात्रस्य अन्नादिपरम्परया परमार्थसत्यं सन्मूलम् अभयम् असन्त्रासं निरायासं सन्मूलमन्विच्छेदे पुत्रं गमयित्वा अशिशिषते पिपासते इति नाम प्रसिद्धिद्वारेण यत् अन्यत् यह अस्मिन् प्रकरणे तेजोबन्धानां पुरुषेण उपभुज्यमानानां कार्यकरणसंघातस्य देहशृङ्गस्य स्वजाति असाङ्कर्येण उपचयकरत्वं वक्तव्यं प्राप्तम् तदिह उक्तमेव द्रष्टव्यम् इति पूर्वोक्तं व्यपदिशते. एवं हि तेजो बन्नमयस्य देहशृङ्गस्य. This deha, the body, Vishunga, the sprout of Teja, Ab, Anna, all the three elements, fire, water and earth or food. vacharambana matrasya. But body is vikara, is a modification. So just as a pot is a modification of clay, and therefore it being vacharambana vikaro namadhyam. Whatever vikara is, whatever modification is vacharambana. It has reality no more than the word, in this case the word pot. Similarly, body also is modification of three elements. So whatever rule applies to pot, which is a modification, same rule also applies to body, which is a modification of three elements. Therefore, vacharambana matrasya. Therefore, the body also is vacharambana. It has its origin only in the speech. It is hanging on the speech. Annadi paramparaya paramatha satyam. Of this body, what is the paramatha satyam? What is the absolute truth? So, annadi paramparaya. To arrive at the ultimate truth of this body, you have to trace it to the intermediate stages also. So, annadi paramparaya. By the succession of annam to water, to fire, to sat. Paramatha satyam sanmulam. You arrive at paramatha satyam, absolute reality. Sanmulam where, which is sat, which is the mulam, the cause or the root of everything. Abhayam, fearless, asantrasam. Santras also means terror. Free from terror, or the translation is taintless. Fearless, taintless. Nirayasam, ayasa means disease. Nirayasam, free from pain. Sanmulam anvicha. Hey Svetaketu, may you seek to know the Sat existence as the Moolam, beginning from Deha or the body. Iti putram gamayitva. This is what Uddalaka said to the son. Ashishishati, pipasati, pipasiti iti nama prasiddhidvarena. And the fact that these two names are quite well known to people. Ashishishati, he is hungry. Pipasati, he is thirsty. Iti nama prasiddhidvarena. That these names are quite well known among the people. Yadi anyadiha अस्मिन् प्रकरणे तेजोबन्नानां पुरुषेण उपज्यमानानां कार्यकरणसंघातस्य देहशृङ्गस्य स्वजाति असाङ्कर्येण उपचयकरत्वं वक्तव्यं प्राप्तम्. So interesting that the Upanishad thinks that this also has to be stated. Ashishati pipasati nama prasiddhi dvarena. By the prasiddhi of these two names, Ashishati pipasati, he is hungry, he is thirsty. Yadanyat yasmin prakarane vaktavyam praptam. So when there is said, then Shruti thinks that vaktavyam, something has to be stated in this context. Asmin prakarane. So how do you say that? The body is a product of the annam and the apaha and tejaha. That you should stay in this particular context, that you should say. So, tejo bannanam purushena upujyamananam karyakana sangadasya deshungasya. How the three elements, the fire, water and earth, when they reach this person in the form of food. Annam also comes as food, apa also comes as food, something to be drunk, teja also comes as food. Karyakana sangadasya deshungasya svajati asankaryena upachaya karatvam. How each of these three elements nourishes the body without mixing up, meaning that the food nourishes the body by way of mamsa, by way of flesh and nothing else. And water nourishes his body by way of blood. And fire nourishes the body by way of bones and the marrow. Asankaryana. Even though all the three elements, all of them find themselves in one stomach. And therefore, it is difficult for us to understand or see how each one retains without being mixed up with other one. Each one does its own job. Asankaryena upachaya karatvam, without mixing up, how each of them nourishes this body. Vaktavyam praptam, that should be, because when you say that body is a product of food and that leads to sat, then you say body is a product of water, that also leads to sat. Body is a product of fire, that also leads to sat. So how? How is the body product of the annam, apaha, tejaha? So in fact, in this context also the Upanishad has to say how each of these three elements comes to this body and gets divided into three and then nourishes the body. So this has to be stated in order to complete the discussion as to how body is a product of food. How do you say that? Body is product of water. How? So that occasion came to say those things, but Shruti has already said that in another context. Trivitkaranam. Tadya uktameva drashtavyam. Therefore, Shruti does not see the need of restating that. It is as good as stated because it was stated in detail earlier. Iti puruktam vyapadishati. Therefore, the Shruti or Uddalaka repeats the same sentence that was said earlier. So Anandagiri has a long discussion on this. Evam hiti uktaya ritya namadvaya prasiddhi dvarena. Uktaya ritya, by the method which has been stated. Namadvaya prasiddhi dvarena, because two names Ashishisati and Pipasati are known to common people. Yatha ukta dehakhya shungasya annadikarana paramparaya sadakhya mula mukta visheshanam. And therefore, yatha ukta dehakhya shungasya, because of the shunga, the deha, the body, is the very shunga of the sprout. Annadi karana paramparaya, once the body to annam, to apaha, to tejaha, to sat. Second name, the body, apaha, tejaha, sat. So third time you should understand annam, tejaha, sat. Yatha ukta dehakhya shungasya annadi karana parampara. Annadi, annam is a karanam, apaha also is karanam, tejaha also is karanam. So that succession, sadakhya mulam ukta visheshanam. So that sat is the mulam, is stated. Sanmulam Anvichedi Upadeshena Shvedaketum Jnapayitva. So Uddalaka said to Shvedaketu, Sanmulam Anvicha. He Somya, may you see the Sat as a Moolam or the ultimate cause. Vyavasthaya Shariram Ekaigabhuta Arabdhamidi Akshebe Prapte. So somebody says, how do you say that food is independently the cause of body, water is independently the cause of body, fire is independently cause of body? How do you say that? Maybe all of the three combine and become the cause of the body, not each one independent. Because the Shruti said independently. How body is the Shungam, the sprout of Annam, and water, and Teja. So each one, without mixing up with the other, contributes to the nourishment of the body. This was implied. So Akshepe Prapte, how do you say that? How do you say that each element independently nourishes the body? Yet asmin prakarane teja prabhutinam upayujyamananam swasvabhava anusarena sangatasya upachayakaratvam vaktavyam praptam. Therefore, the Shruti has to say how each one of element, when it comes to body, does its own job. That the fire has its own job by contributing to the nourishment of the bone and marrow. And water contributes its work by forming the blood, and the food by forming the flesh. This is what you have to say. Now, tadiha sarva sharireshu sarvabhuta karya upalambhat vyavasthayam pramana abhavat. Every body is seen to be the product of all the three elements, and therefore that each element does its own job. There is no pramanam. We don't have any evidence of that. Drishyamane sangade kasya bhutasya kiyat karyam. Therefore, so what we see is this body, and what we see is that in this body, the three elements, the Annam, Apaha and Teja, are equally present. So question is, what does Annam do? What does Apaha do? What does Teja do? So, Drishyamane Sanghate Kasya Bhutasya Kiyat Karyam. Sanghata, the body, which you see, which element contributes to which aspect. Ide apekshayam, that apeksha is there, so that needs to be stated here. This is what the Tikakara says, or Bhashyakara says. Annam ashitamityado uktameva drashtavyam. And therefore, so Annam ashita, we only saw yesterday. On page 246, Annam Ashidam Tredha Vidhiyate Apah Pitaha Tredha Vidhiyante Teja Ashidam Tredha Vidhiyate Ityado Uktameva Drashtavyam. So this question arises at this stage, but the discussion has already taken place. Therefore, the question is as good as answered earlier. Iti puroktam. Therefore, the teacher repeats just what was stated earlier. See, if you look at the passage, page 261. Yathanu khalu somya imas tisro devataha purusham prapya trivit ekaika bhavati taduktam purastadeva bhavati. Hey Somya, in case there is a question in your mind as to how each of these elements independently contributes to the nourishment of the body, understand that it is already stated earlier. Innam annam ashitam tredha vidiyate, apah pitaha tredha vidiyante, etc. So this vakya is here, in this sadayatana, sat pratishtha. So in that this vakya comes. So why does this vakya come? So Vashyakara says that at this point this question can arise as to how each of these elements contributes to nourishment of this body independently. Because we see the body as a product of all the three elements. Therefore, there is no way for us to know which element does what job. So Shruti has to say that it should be stated here. But it's already stated, therefore, just brought to our attention by this statement. Iti yojana. This is a long yojana. Annagiri continues. Sato moolasya vyavahara satyatvam varayati. See, of the body, annam is moolam, but that is only vyavaharik satyam. Then apa is moolam, that also is mithya, vyavaharik satyam. Teja moolam, fire also is moolam, but that also is vyavaharik satyam. So sat moolam, sat also is moolam, as other moola are all vyavaharik satya. Somebody may suspect that sat also is vyavaharik satyam. So he says, no, varayati. That being refuted by Bhashyakara saying, Paramaso in the line, second line, Paramatha Satyam Sanmoolam. The Sat which is Moolam is Paramatha Satyam, is absolute reality. Vastutah na avidya sambandha tasya asti. And in fact, the absolute reality which is Sat or Brahman has no connection with ignorance, avidya. Therefore, abhayam, it is fearless. Avidya, there is no connection with avidya, no connection with avidya karya also. So, avidya karya sambandhopi paramatada na tasya asti. Ignorance does not taint the existence. Not the product of ignorance. Ahankara, mamakara, raga, dvesha, they also do not taint the sat. So abhayam, asantrasam, they were taintless, it was said it, Asantrasam, taintless. Or it is again fearless. Ubhaya sambandha bhave samutkkhada nikhil dukkhatvena. All dukkha or pain or suffering in life is because of ignorance and the products of ignorance. Ignorance has this twofold power, veiling and projecting. So basically it is avaranam that is the original cause. But vikshepa becomes the evident cause. So what is vikshepa? Mutual superimposition. Because of ignorance, the body is taken to be the self, and the limitations of the body are superimposed upon the self. That is the evident cause of suffering. So now, when ignorance, products of ignorance, vikshepa also is not there, ignorance avarana also is not there, then there is no cause of any pain at all. Therefore, samutkhada nikhil dukkhatvena, all possible dukkha, the pain or suffering, has been uprooted. Then what remains? Paramanandatvam tasya siddhyate. See, Atma is Paramananda, of the nature of limitless happiness. It is ignorance and the products of ignorance that obstruct the manifestation of Paramananda. We should be constantly be happy, abiding in total happiness. But the sorrow, the sadness created by ignorance and ahankara, mamakara, the I, the mind, the raga, dvesha, all of these obstruct the manifestation of that Parama Ananda. But when that obstruction is completely removed, then Param Ananda manifests without any obstruction. It manifests so naturally, effortlessly. So Paramanandatvam tasya siddhyati. That is when one gets the siddhati. Is established that Atma is Paramananda, of the nature of limitless happiness. So it is Nirayasam, Sanmulam, Abhayam, Asantrasam, Nirayasam. Abhayam, fearless because of no duality. Asantrasam, taintless because it is Asanga. And Nirayasam, free from all pain, meaning of the nature of Ananda. Sanmulam Anvichedi Putram Gamayitva. This is what the father made the son see, this fact. Or the Abhinava Narayananandra said, Deha Shungasya Tejo Bandhamayatvam Teja Shungatvena Mula Anumane Hetuvatra Uktaha. That Deha is a sprout of both all Teja, up and Anna. Teja Shungatvena, body being a product of Teja, Mula Anumane Hetuvatra Uktaha. Same Hetu in the original Anumana. Nirayasamidi Anantaram Gamitam Bhavati iti Shesha Sanmulam Abhayam Asantrasam Nirasayam Gamitam Bhavati iti Shesha. Evam Shabda Anushangena Evam Sanmulamidi Uttarvakyamapi Yojaniyam. So Nirayasam Gamitam Bhavati Evam Sanmulam Anvichya. That's how Yojyam. Because Evam Hi, that Evam comes here. Nama Prasiddhi Dvarena Ityasya Putram Gamayitva Purna Anvayaha. So Nama Prasiddhi Dvarena Putram Gamayitva. That's how the Anvaya is. Tadyaheti Puroktameh Drashtamid Anvaya. Tadya Uktameva Drashtavyam Puroktam Vyapadishadi. There Tadyaheti Puroktameva Drashtavyam. That is Anvaya. Okay. So let us read the Bhashya in the fourth line. Yathanu khalu yena prakarena imaha tejo bannakhyaha tisro devataha purusham prapya trivat ekaika bhavati taduktam parastadeva bhavati annamasitam tredha vidhiyate ityadi. So the teacher repeats that sentence. Yathanu khalu som yathanu khalu yena prakarena. Yatha means yena prakarena, the manner in which imaha tejo bannakhya tisro devataha. These three devata deities or the elements, fire, water and earth, purusham prapya, when they reach this purusha in the form of food, trivut ekaika bhavati, how each of them gets divided into three components. Taduktam purastadeva bhavati. Hey Somya, you may have this question at this time, but the father reminds that this is already stated earlier. Where did you say annamashidam treda bhavati treda vidhiyate ityadi? In that passage we already said this. Puroktameva vyakti karoti. What was said earlier, again Bhashyakara here makes it clear. Tatraiva it says Bhashya. Tatraiva uktam annadinam अशितानाम् ये मध्यमा धातवः ते साप्तधातुकं शरीरम् उपचिन्वन्ते इत्युक्तं मांसं भवति लोहितं भवति. What's the matter? मज्जा भवति अस्थि भवति. ये तो अनिष्ठा धातवः मनः प्राणं वाचं देहस्य अंतःकरण संघातम् उपचिन्वन्ते इति च उक्तं तन्मनो भवति स प्राणो भवति सा वाक् भवति इति. So what was said in earlier passages, annam ashitam treda vidhiyata etc., Bhashyakara reiterates that. So just in case, for our reference, Bhashyakara restates that. Tatreva uktam. Hey Shvetakelu, do you remember that? There it was stated. Annadinam ashitanam annam ashitam apaha ashitaha Tejaha ashitam. So annadinam ashitanam, annadinam, the food, the water, the fire, when they are eaten or consumed. Ye madhyama dhatavah, because the sthavishtha dhatu, the grossest part of food is rejected. The grossest part of water also is rejected. The middle part of the food becomes the flesh, mamsam, and the middle part of water becomes lohitam, blood. So it is the madhyama and middle part of the fire becomes the marrow. But the gross part of the fire becomes asti, so that is missed here. And the Tikakara will add that. So madhyama dhatavah te saptadhadukam shariram upachinvante. These three elements, they upachinvante, nourish the body, which is made up of the 7 constituents: skin, blood, flesh, fat, marrow, bone, semen. Says here, kim tat annamashram ityadu uktam. What was stated earlier? So saptadhadukam siddhanagiri tvag asrung mamsa medah majja asti shukrakhya saptadhatavah. Tvag, the skin; asruk, the blood; mamsa, flesh; medah, fat; majja, marrow; asti, bone; shukra, the semen. Saptadhatavah, these are the 7 constituents. Tesham sammati rupam saptadhatukam. Saptadhatavah tesham sammati saptadhatukam shariram upachinvanti iti uktam. These 3 elements nourish the body made up of these 7 ingredient constituents. So madhyama dhatavah, in line 26, the Tikaka is madhyama dhatavah upalakshanam tejasah, not teja but tejasah, sthula dhatu api asnah shairopachaya karatvad. That even the sthula, the gross aspect of the fire also creates the asthi or the bones. That way, in case of fire, not only the middle part, middle ingredient, the gross ingredient also nourishes the body by way of the bones. Therefore, Bhashyakara says here, this sentence is not found exactly. Mamsam bhavati, lohitam bhavati, majja bhavati, asti bhavati. Mamsam bhavati, annam becomes the flesh. Lohitam bhavati, water becomes the blood. Majja bhavati, fire becomes the marrow. Asti bhavati, added, becomes the bone. Iti. ये तो अनिष्ठा धातवः, and the subtle aspect of these three elements, manah pranam vacham. So, annamaya somyam manah, the subtle aspect of annam, the nourishes the manah, the mind. Subtle aspect of water nourishes the prana, the vital air. And then apomaya prana and tejomayi vak, the subtle aspect of the teja, the nourishes the vak, the organ of speech. What are this mana, pranam, vak? Dehasya antakarana sanghatam. In fact, through this we should understand the entire antakaranam, the inner organ of the mind, of the body. Upachinvanti iti uktam, iti cha uktam. How was it said? Tan mano bhavati. How the food becomes a mind. Tat sab prano bhavati. The water becomes prana. Sa vak bhavati. The fire becomes the speech, etc. Okay. So, now the next is the prakriya of marana. A different prakriya is now adopted by the Upanishad to show how Sat is the ultimate cause. But I think that we'll reserve for the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.